Hello there, Yarnspirations. How are you guys doing? And hello to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I'm so sorry. I had to restart my computer. Don't you know that's the way it goes, right? When we are trying to go live, I was like, oh my gosh. So I apologize for running a little bit behind here. It was not my intention, but hey, I am here and that's all that matters, right? Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Marley Bird. I am an ambassador with Yarnspirations Yarn, and I am an instructor on the Marley Bird YouTube channel and the designer behind the marleybird.com designs. I'm so happy to be here. You guys have joined me several times before for the Lunch and Learns right here on the Yarnspirations Facebook page or the Marley Bird YouTube channel. And it is delightful to be able to join you today. And we are going to be talking about a light and lacy Afghan, which some people might be like, no, Afghans are supposed to be solid. I don't want any holes. But did you know that when you crochet an Afghan and it has that negative space where the holes are created, it actually insulates you? So it's deceptive that you don't stay warm when your blanket has holes in it when actually you do. So a light and lacy blanket like this is perfect to just throw as a decorative piece in your living room or your family room, and to be able just to rest over you're sitting down, maybe you're doing a little, I call it Netflix and chilling, not what you're thinking of, but like when you're just watching Netflix and you're chilling out crocheting. That's a good thing to have just draped over you. So excuse me, my voice is a little bit rough. But anyways, I love the whole idea of this. And Yarnspirations has put together a complete roundup of light and lacy designs that they've done. And so I've linked that in the video description, so you can check that out for sure. And I've also linked the pattern we're going to talk about today. So let's go ahead. Let's take a look at that pattern right quickly. Let me see if I can do this. Haha, I did it. Huzzah. All right, guys. So this is the Crochet Irish Accent Afghan. And at first look, you're like, wow, that's a whole lot going on. And the really cool thing is it's done with squares and sections that you work together to join these panels. So it's really fun and easy to do. My plan today was to go ahead and grab some yarn and let's work up one of these squares together and see how it's done. And then hopefully you'll be able to follow along with the pattern beyond that time. So that way we're doing this quick and little lunch and learn together to get us started, and we can move on from there. So while everybody is getting that free pattern, again, the link is in the video description box. And if you want to grab a skein of Super Saver or Red Heart with Love or Karen 1 Pound, any of those will work with this pattern for sure. And grab a hook. I am going to be using a larger hook today. I don't know what size they call for in the pattern. They call for an I. I'm going to use a J. And the only reason I'm using a J hook is because of the color. I want you to be able to see the yarn on my hook. So you could use whatever hook and we could play around with the yarn. And just, have some fun while you're maybe eating lunch, or maybe you're still on your cup of coffee or mug of coffee in my case, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, guys. So as we're doing that, let me know where you're coming from. There's so many of you here. Hi, guys. It's nice to have you here for sure. Hi, Crystal and Diane and Stacy and Amy and Sophia, Sandra. A lot of S names today. Must be like an S convention. All right. So looking at this pattern, we are going to use a size 4 or medium or worsted weight yarn. When it comes to Yarnspirations yarns, that would include Red Heart Super Saver, which is what the pattern is written for. You could also use Red Heart with Love, which that's what I'm going to be using today. I think the orange shows up really well, so I pulled that out. You could use Karen 1 Pound. You could use a bunch of different types of yarn. So it's a great stash buster as well. I will tell you that I think it looks better in a solid versus a variegated. So I personally would not make it in a variegated. I would make it in a solid. It looks much more seamless and fluid. So I would do it in a solid, and you could do it in this really beautiful Erin color, or pick an orange color like this, or pink, or whatever the color of your living room would be. This would be really good in like a mustardy yellow color too. That's real popular nowadays. Okay. Most of the instructions here, they look like relatively simple instructions, nothing new in the abbreviations. Sort of a side note, I just relaunched my website and I have an entire section dedicated to crochet definitions, abbreviations. If there's a video, it's attached, and the stitch diagram symbol. So all of those can be found if you go to marleybird.com and go in the learn to knit and crochet drop down menu, you'll see crochet definitions. So if you ever have a question, that's a really good resource for you to have if you're interested at all. I am going to point out we will be doing yarn over the hook, not a yarn under the hook. And I think that is an important distinction as many new crocheters are coming into the scene. And as they're watching TikTok or YouTube or Instagram Reels, not everybody is doing the instructions with a yarn over. Some of them do yarn under. It's especially popular in amigurumi, but the true technical way of doing these stitches is with the yarn over. So the fact that it's been pointed out specifically, that is important to note. So I want to make sure we're doing these yarn overs. As far as sizing and stuff, this is a blanket. If it's a little bit too big or a little bit smaller, it's not the end of the world. So I'm not going to worry too much about gauge, but if you want to make sure you're getting gauge exactly, then you could absolutely measure out your square to be 4 inches exactly. And then make sure you have all of them the same. All right, so these are made in panels, and each panel has squares that are all attached to each other. So you would make 6 panels total. So we'll start off with the first square. I'm going to scroll down here. So it's really important to me that we review the patterns because it's important that you know how to review a pattern and not just rely on videos. Videos are a great resource to help along with the pattern, but not every pattern has a video. So the more you learn how to read a pattern, the better. So this is all these squares, they only take 3 rounds. And then as you make the following squares, they're all excuse me, joined together on that 3rd round. So they're a join as you go square. And then you have to do the edging along these squares, okay? And then those edgings, those are what get joined together to make this beautiful piece. So I love the fact that there is a stitch diagram here. I don't know if Yarn Inspirations did that or Mikey did that, but I will say that makes me thrilled because I can follow along with the stitch diagram. And as I mentioned, if you don't know what any of these are, excuse me. I have a frog in my throat. We will go over those. They're pretty self-explanatory and wonderful. I love stitch diagrams, so I will most likely be referring to the stitch diagram throughout this lunch and learn. All right, so here we go. Let's pull in, see if I can pull in my camera and this view. Let me know if this view is good for all of you. I see a lot of you from all around the world. It's so nice. Hola, Monica. Hola. Okay. So we have our yarn right here. Make sure I'm under the camera. And I have my hook. And we're going to start off with a chain. So I'm going to look up at the instructions. And we'll start with our slip knot. So I'm going to go ahead and do my slip knot. I want to make sure I can see the camera. Now, if my camera tends to not focus enough because I switched my cameras from the one from my face to make it so that it's over my hands. And so the focusing, the autofocus tends to not want to focus on my hands very often. So hopefully we won't have any issues here, but we will see. So let's go on from here. You know what? Give me just a second. I'm just going to make it so that it's not so focused if I can. I don't know if that helped or not. I don't know. Well, we're going to try that. We'll give that a whirl. Okay, so we'll chain 6 to begin with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is there a little delay on your side, you guys? I feel like I have a delay on my side and it keeps going out of focus on me. That's annoying. Let me see if I can come up a little. See if maybe that helps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll get through this. We'll see. Okay, so we have 6, and we're going to join with the slip stitch to the first chain. So I'm going to go to the first chain here and join with my slip stitch. says chain 2. So I will chain 2. So 1 and 2. And it describes, I think, the chain: yarn over hook, insert hook into the ring, yarn over hook, draw up a loop, yarn over hook, draw through 2 loops twice. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to yarn over our hook. So went over top of the hook, insert the hook into the ring, yarn over the hook, draw up a loop. And then we're going to yarn over my hook and draw through 2 of those loops. So yarn over, draw through 2. And we do that twice. So we yarn over our hook, insert into the ring, yarn over our hook, draw up a loop, yarn over our hook, draw through 2. So we did that twice. Yarn over a hook, draw through all 3 loops on our hook. That's a double crochet 2 together. I wonder why they wrote that in the instructions to tell us how to do that instead of just giving us the instructions. Just curious why. Hopefully it will be okay. It's really bothering me how it's not in focus. Hopefully it's gonna work out, guys. All right, so we have a double crochet 2 together made, and now you'll see there's a bracket, and that means that everything that's inside of that bracket, we're gonna do the number of times that's written outside of the bracket, okay? So we're gonna chain 3, so 1, 2, 3, and then it gives us those instructions again of yarn over, insert the ring, yarn over, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2 loops 3 times. So we're gonna do a double crochet. It's like a 3 together, but that's okay. Anyways, I would call these a cluster because you are creating a single stitch. Like you have 3 partially completed doubles and you finish it on the top. Like I would call it a cluster, but it's all right. So yarn over our hook, go into the ring, yarn over the hook, draw up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. So that's 1 partially completed double crochet. So we're going to do another partially completed double crochet. And we do it again. Yarn over, go into the ring, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, draw through 2. So we have 3 partially completed double crochets and then the loop that was on our hook. So we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, draw through all 3. That would be called a cluster. Okay. Just want to make sure everybody knows. The reason it wouldn't be called a double crochet 3 together is because we're not working into 3 individual stitches. All of this together in one stitch with one like V on top, that would be called a cluster. Okay, so we did that once, and now we yarn over, draw through our loops on hook, double crochet 3 together made. That's what they're calling it, is a double crochet 3 together. We do that 7 times. So we want to do that 7 times. So that was 1. So we had to do it 6 more times. So yarn over our hook. I want to make sure I'm reading this right. Yep. So we're going to do these, what they're calling double crochet 3 together, a total of 7 times. So there was 1 more time. I forgot to chain 3 in between there. Shoot, guys. All right. So I did that. And now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then do it again. Chain 3, do it again. If for some reason you are finding that as you're working these, maybe the legs of your double crochets are getting a little bit like they're not consistently the same size, one of the tricks you can do, and you'll notice this is what I do. You know I'm putting that hook in the ring, right? But I'm going to end up covering where I'm putting it. So I'm putting the hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. I want to make sure that that loop on my hook stays the same size as the other loops, because that's the whole reason of using this particular hook, is it makes it so that all the loops are the same size. So when I yarn over and draw through 2 loops, I'm going to hold the base of these 2 loops right here so they don't get any bigger. All right. And then I yarn over, and then what I just created right there, I'm going to pinch it and create it again. So the reason I'm sorry, I'm not going to create it again because I'm doing this half or this partial double crochet. But by putting your hand on those loops to not let them get a different size maintains the control. So for example, for the second one, yarn over, I'm going to put my fingers right down here so that when I pull through 2, now that and the one I did before are the exact same size because I made sure that as I pulled through 2, everything is remaining the same size as my hook. So now as I yarn over and draw through all 4 on my hook, all of my double crochet 3 togethers that they're calling are all the same size. Okay. So for anybody that's like, oh, she covers her stitches or I can't see, we're creating the stitches all the same way. It's just that in order to maintain a more tidy finished look, this is a great way that you can ensure that your stitches always look the same. Okay. I know that as beginners, it tends to be something that, it might be frustrating. It's like, oh, they're always covering where they're putting the hook in. It's like, no, we're putting the hook in the same place, but we're just consistently making our stitches the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we're going to have 8 total. 1, 2, and 3. Somebody's asking about my hook. Yes, it is a touche crochet hook with a Susan Bates needle on it. Because I crochet so much, I have to have these larger hook handles. They make it so that I can actually crochet without my hands cramping on me. And it's really important. All right, so I'm just going to confirm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I just do 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, and then I finish with the chain 3. And I'll come back over here to the top of the one I created before and join with a slip stitch. So that's the center that we have so far. I'm going to take a drink real quick, you guys. Oh, thank you, Carlene. Yes, my app. There it is back there. I did a lunch and listen yesterday on my YouTube channel about that Afghan. That Afghan, you guys, my grandmother made it for my mom for her wedding gift. So over 46 years ago. And she made it with Red Heart Super Saver. And it's gorgeous. And then the one underneath it, that one there, the pink one, that's the one my grandma made me. The one underneath that is a scrap Afghan made with a ton of Super Saver. So I did a huge lunch and listen yesterday all about those Afghans. So I haven't had the heart to put them away yet. That's why they're sitting behind me. Okay, I digress. So that was the first round. We joined with a slip stitch. Let's take a peek. I'm going to see what they say in the written instructions before I move on. So in the written instructions, it says slip stitch to the center of the next. Let me go like this so you guys can follow along. Right here, this is where we are. It says slip stitch to the center of the next chain 3 arc. Chain 1, single crochet in the same arch, and then everything that's in those parentheses we'll do 7 times, and then we'll chain 2, double crochet to the first single, and that's how that goes. So if we look at the chart here, we finished right here. If you guys can see my arrow, right here is where we finished. So we're going to slip stitch over here to this chain 3 area. And that's going to give us a new start to where we're beginning. So we'll single crochet into that area, then we'll chain 5, single crochet to the next one, chain 5, single crochet to the next, so on and so forth. So let's see if this will get back in view. Good. I was close. I was getting wordy there for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch over here to this chain 3. And so that moves the position of where my hook is. So I will chain 1 and then single crochet into that same space. Now I'll chain 5. Go to the next chain 3 space and do another single. I'm going to do this all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy. Anybody else say that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I should put that on a shirt. Whoopsie daisy dash Marley Bird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Over here. Jenny, so I was taught how to hold it with a pencil. I can hold it like a knife. I actually knit like this, so it's a little easier, but I find I I'm always going like this when I put it in my hand like this, and it makes my wrist hurt. So I don't know why. I still move my hand, but 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. It's real interesting, right? The good news is no matter how we hold our hook, whether it's like this, I've seen people hold their hook like this. As long as we get the job done, that's all that matters, right? I mean, my best friend and business partner, Robin Chachula, she holds it like a knife. She holds it like this. And I mean, that's just the way she does it. Okay, so when we finish this off, we want our hook position to actually, because this would be a simulation of like a chain 5, but we want our hook in the middle of that chain 5. So to do that, this is really fun. We are going to chain 2, and then we will do a double crochet all the way over here into the first single, and we'll do that to join. So we're going to do a double, and look what that does. It makes it look like a chain 5, right? But it definitely puts our hook and everything right in the middle of what would be that chain 5. So we don't have to worry about placement. So if you ever come across a motif like this where it has you finish without doing a chain 5 and the join, this is the reason why. It wants your hook to be placed in the middle of whatever, like your chain 5, chain 3, chain 2, whatever it is. And so it has you do these different types of stitches that you normally might not do when you're doing a join to accomplish that. I think it's just really cool whenever I come across a pattern that does that, I love it. It makes me very excited. Hello, Carolyn. So many of you here. It's so nice. So nice to say hi. It's always feeling like I get to hang out with friends when I'm doing this with you guys. I really appreciate you joining for sure. Hi, Karen and Cindy. Cindy, if you don't know what we're making today, we're working on the motif for a light and lacy blanket. The link is in the video description box. Okay. And then I will like this here. So Yarn Inspirations just put the link up there too. So I'll throw it up to say hello so you guys can see that. Thank you so much, Yarn Inspirations. I appreciate your help. All right. So round 3, let's take a peek at the pattern too. So that way we're sure that we're following along. So I need to click on this so I can see. Round 3, this is where we are. So we will chain, why can't I highlight it? Chain 5. It's a star, right? So the star is important. Chain 5, double crochet 3 together, which to me is a cluster. Then we'll chain 3 and then do another double crochet 3 together into the next arch. And then we have 2 stars there. So that means that at some point we're going to come back to star and repeat, but we'll only repeat it to the double star. Then we'll chain 5, 1 single crochet in the next chain 3 space, and then repeat from star twice more. And then from star to double star once, chain 5, join with the slip stitch at this top. Okay. So now we know we just read that. So let's take a peek over here at this. Here's where we are. We're right here, right? So we're going to chain 5, and then we're going to create our corner. So we're going to do what they're calling a double crochet 3 together into this chain 5 space. So we're going to do a cluster, chain 3, a cluster, right? All of that is our corner. And then we'll chain 5, single crochet in the next chain 5 space, chain 5, and then create another corner in the next chain 5 space. Chain 5, single crochet in the next chain 5 space, chain 5, and then another corner. You guys see that? So sometimes I'm saying the exact same essence of what they want you to do. I'm just changing the words a bit to try and make it a little bit more clear. Because sometimes the written instructions of crochet patterns especially can be very confusing. Okay. So we will chain 5. 1, see daisy, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to come to this chain 5 space and we're going to create our corner. So let's do our double crochet 3 together, which if you can't tell is killing me to say that every time because it is not what it's called. And I don't want you guys to think that that's what it's a cluster. This is a double crochet cluster. So I do my cluster, chain 3, and then do another one. All right. So that's my corner. If you're somebody who needs more visuals, so you know where you are in the pattern, let's just put a stitch marker into the chain 3 area. Okay. So that lets you know that's a corner. It'll help you give you like a sense of where you are. All right. So now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come to the next chain 5 space and single crochet. Chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come to the next chain 5 space and create our corner. So we do our double crochet 3 together, otherwise known as a double crochet cluster. Goodness gracious. Okay, so there's our first one, chain 3, and do another one in that same chain 5 space. Again, you'll notice every time I come up right underneath my hook to make sure that they're all the same size. I feel like it's really important when you're doing motifs, especially when you have to do a bunch that are the same size, to make sure that I mean, that's what your hook is there for. It's there to give you a, a, a common ground to have all of your stitches the same size. So it becomes very helpful. All right, so now we chain 5, single crochet in the next chain 5 space, chain 5. We're in the next corner, so we do our double crochet 3 together, otherwise known as a double crochet cluster. Chain 3, and do another one of those double crochet 3 togethers, double crochet clusters. In my chain 3, I'm going to put another marker so that way we have an idea. Whoops. Okay, so we're going to chain 5, single into the next chain 5 space, chain 5, which puts us right here to the next chain 5. So we're going to do our corner. This will be our 4th corner. Chain 3, finish the corner. Okay, put a marker there. I'm going to set this down for a minute just so I can read the instructions instead of just looking at the chart, so I can kind of make sure for those of you who are reading so you know where we are. So with the reading of the instructions, let's come back over here. So we repeated from star twice more. Then we went from star to star once. Okay, that's where we are, because the star, right, it ends at the second double crochet 3 together. Then it says we'll chain 5, join with the slip stitch at the top of the double crochet at the end of round 2. So that, to me, this was our double crochet, the end of round 2, right? It was in the center of our 5 here. So when we slip stitch over here, it's going to give the illusion of the single crochet here, which is like the single crochet we have in all the other corners. So right here, we'll chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we come back over here, and I'm slip stitching right there. And then we fasten off. So I yarn over, pull through 1. So it's like I do a chain. And then if you're new here, add a pom-pom to your scissors. They won't get lost. Give that a pull. Let's take a peek at this. So there's my corners. See my corners? See how that all works out? Everybody see that? All right. That is one square. So the next square, we make it just the same way, but then on this last round, you actually join it. So let's take a peek at the chart here again. So I'm going to bring it up as best I can. You can see right here on that last round, when you're at the joining points next to the side of the motif you're on. So let's look at this corner here. This corner over here, it was the double crochet 3 together, chain 3, double crochet 3 together. When you do the second square, you do the double crochet 3 together, chain 1, slip stitch into that chain 3 space of the other square, and then chain 1 and continue. So instead of doing a chain 3 over here, you replace the middle of the chain 3, so the second chain, you replace that with a slip stitch over here into this chain 3 space, and it joins it. Same idea here. From this square to the center bit here, we had been doing a chain 5. You actually will do a chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 5 space of the first square or the previous square, and then chain 2, and then do a single crochet as you normally would. Chain 2, slip stitch into the chain 5 space, chain 2, complete your corner. So you do the double crochet 3 together, chain 1, slip stitch into the other corner, chain 1, and then complete your corner of the square you're on. Does that make sense? So when you're doing any sort of a join, okay, you're any sort of a join, where we did these chains here, these 5 chains, we're actually going to, so if I were doing another square over here, let's look at it this way. If I were doing the square over here, I'd work around, I would start my corner. Do I have a piece of paper? I don't think I do. I'd start my corner, I'd chain 1, slip stitch to where this one is, right? So these markers are helpful because you could be like, oh, where am I slip stitching over here? Because it looks like a lot of just swirly like areas, right? But you could be like, okay, so when I get to my corner, I chain 1, slip stitch where that marker is, and then you could take that marker out and then chain 1 and finish your corner here. And then you would chain 2, slip stitch right here, single crochet, or chain slip stitch, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, slip stitch right here, chain 2, and then start your corner here. So you do double crochet 3 together or a cluster, and then you chain 1, join here, chain 1, another double crochet 3 together. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? I hope so. I do too. So you guys are all talking here. I love the cream color of the Afghan too. I think it makes it very classic. Very classic for sure. Mandy says that looks good. Miss Marley, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Crystal says it's looking so I think so too. I mean, this is gorgeous. This would be even really pretty if you didn't want to do any of the if you didn't want to make them as panels, you could even uh, do when am I doing that? You could even put these together and make a shawl of some sort if you wanted to. There's a lot of fun things you can do with motifs like this. And with the joining method, it just makes it's pretty self-explanatory when you understand exactly what you're doing when you join. Okay. Let's take a peek at the edging part as well. Since we're coming to the end of the lunch and learn, I want to make sure this makes sense. Once all of your panels are together, when you are working along the edge of the panel, you're going to do it just like this. You'll join your yarn with a slip stitch at one of the corners. You'll chain 3. You'll do 2 double crochets into that corner. And then you'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 double crochets into the double or the chain 5 space, 5 double crochets in the chain 5 space, 2 double crochets in the chain 1 space, 1 double crochet, which looks confusing right here, right? Because it's like 1 double crochet where? Literally just where those 2 are connected, just kind of put it right there in between all of that. Ultimately, across this entire space here, from one corner to the next, we want 5 double crochets. Just space them out evenly, okay? As long as you're consistent along the whole row with how you do it, that's all you need to do. we are just going through this whole process here and making sure all of the stitches are spaced out evenly, right? You'll notice it's 3 in the corner, 5 in this section, 5 in this section. From corner to corner, from one square to the next, it's 5. It's 5 in this section, even though it looks like that double crochet is right there into that space right there. Like it's still 5. It's 5. It's 5. It's 3 when you get to the other end. So it's 3 at the start, 3 at the end, and then 5 in all the sections in between. So as long as you get that, you'll be set perfectly to work along the row for the following edgings. Just keep things consistent. It's really not so bad. And then you guys, like, seriously, those tassel things, I know there's a lot of people that don't like tassels, but I'm telling you, they make such a big impact when you're talking about a piece that you want to be a gift, as something that's just delightful as it's draped over your couch, an heirloom quality piece. Just tassels really make a difference. So like even in this, here, I'll show you because I have it here. Why not? Like the tassels in it's more fringe and tassely. They just make a difference, and it just looks so stunning as this bedspread is draped on a bed. And they can be a pain in the rear to make. I get it, but they really make things look really lovely. So it's a great thing to do. All right. Now you know how to make this square. Use stitch markers. Make it easy for yourself. They're there to be like little reminders that there's something to do whenever you get to those. And they'll be handy as you're marking all of your squares together. Make these edgings. Like, this is a great little summary project because you could do like the full panel. Like they're just little strips of panels, and then save it until it's like a cool day, or when your house is nice and chilled out from the air conditioning, to put it all together. But you can work on those little panels individually as you're going along. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this lunch and learn. I really like coming here and teaching you guys as often as possible. Just a quick reminder, every other Thursday over on the Red Heart Facebook page, I'm doing lunch and learns there. So not this Thursday, but next. So if you want to join me over there or on the Marley Bird YouTube channel, you're more than welcome to. We keep it light and fun and just have a good time learning some good things. So whether you have your hook or your needles, or you just want to sit and relax and spend some time with a friend during lunch, maybe it's been a rough day, I guarantee you I will keep it fun for you. All right, guys, that's it for me. Don't forget the link to the pattern and the Light and Lacy roundup is in the video description box. Be sure to smash that like button if you have not yet liked the Yarnspirations Facebook page or subscribe to the Marley Bird YouTube channel. I hope you will do that. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.